The action camera market has so far been dominated by one name, GoPro. However, of all the companies in the action camera game, Sony might pose the biggest threat to GoPro's continued reign with their 4K capable monster, the FDR-X1000v. Sony's flagship action camera, the FDR-X1000v, is certain to have GoPro looking over its shoulder as it, like the GoPro Hero 4 Black Edition, shoots true 4K video at 30 frames per second, but at 100 megabits per second rather than GoPro's 60. The X1000v has a few other features that set it apart from the pack too, such as a Zeiss branded lens, Sony's steady shot stabilization, and a splash-proof body. On paper at least, this looks like the first serious competitor for the mighty GoPro. Besides the camera, which comes complete in a waterproof housing, within the package users will find a micro USB cable, a 1240mAh lithium-ion battery pack, an attachment buckle, flat and curved adhesive mounts, and a starter guide. When it comes to design, Sony didn't depart from the layout it's used to with its previous action cameras. Although the FDR-X1000v retains the signature look, it's noticeably larger and heavier than non-4K versions, so it feels bulky in the hand. The waterproof casing that comes with the camera allows the X1000v to reach depths of 10 meters. For extreme divers, an optional dive door with flat front panel can be purchased for deeper depths. Those familiar with the Sony action camera will find no major surprises here, with a similar shotgun type design rather than GoPro's boxy look, making helmet mounting more aerodynamic. It's also splash resistant outside of its casing. The body is rounded with very few edges other than a flat bottom, allowing it to stand on its own, with integrated tripod threads used for mounting, as well as a flap covering an external power input. On the front is a 170° Zeiss Tessar lens with an f2.8 aperture. This decreases to 120° with steady shot image stabilization turned on, although that feature is a key point of difference from the GoPro, since built-in image stabilization compensates for camera shake. Nevertheless, it's the same lens used in other Sony action cams, but with a minimum focus distance of almost 20 inches compared to nearly 12 inches in the others, so you can't get as close up if you want things in focus. A stereo microphone sits right underneath the lens with a wind cut filter users can toggle on or off from the menus. On the side of the unit is an LCD screen useful for changing settings when you don't have the camera paired to your smartphone by using the previous and next buttons, which also enable the camera's Wi-Fi when pressed together. Other than an opening for the camera's small speaker, along with an NFC mark is an infrared receiver for use with external accessories. At the top is a recording status LED indicator, as well as the main recording shutter button, which is well sized, providing good tactile feedback alongside a sliding lock. The rear incorporates a two-door panel. One opens to reveal the micro USB and HDMI ports, while the other has a sliding lock which reveals the micro SD or memory stick micro slot, alongside a cavity for the included 1240mAh battery. It's a rather pleasing overall design, great for side mounting thanks to its more aerodynamic stance over the GoPro. When it comes to operating the camera, it's reasonably simple. Powered with a simple button press, the configuration remains unchanged from earlier models. The two side buttons are used to navigate the menus while the shutter button selects. Although this can be slow and frustrating to use, it's enough to get the job done. The downside with this style of control is that there are many sub-menus, making it time consuming to change any settings. For example, turning on and off Wi-Fi requires at least 12 button presses while navigating 3 sub-menus. Thankfully, we have that 2-button shortcut though. Nevertheless, compare that to the GoPro, which has one less physical button, but it's still much easier to operate. On the connectivity front, the X1000v offers Wi-Fi and NFC, as well as GPS tagging, although most users will interact and control the camera through Sony's Play Memories mobile app, which can act as a remote viewfinder, where it performs reliably well with minimal lag. Of course, users are able to quickly and easily access and change camera settings too, as well as control up to 5 cameras at once, and it even has live streaming as long as you have a Ustream account. All in all, the app works reliably and smoothly, incorporating features not found on competing units. The jump from full HD to 4K resolution between successive generations of action cams brings a significant improvement to overall image quality from the X1000v. The ultra-wide-angle Zeiss Tessar lens shoots up to 170 degrees viewing angle with an f2.3-inch back-illuminated Exmor R CMOS sensor. The combination of an improved lens element and higher bitrate recording makes for incredibly sharp and smooth 4K footage, as long as you have a device with the bandwidth to support playback. A big performance plus on the X1000v is the ability to record 4K at a whopping 100 megabits per second, which improves image motion and overall quality. Nevertheless, video captured from the X1000v's 4K mode at 100 megabits per second is very clean. Colors are accurate with good details and are superbly sharp. Because of the higher resolution, you can crop into the center of the frame for the sharpest portion of the image and still come out with a HD result. Add to that the built-in image stabilization, which is supposedly 3 times more stable than previous models. Turning it on will drain battery life, and it's not available when shooting in 4K either. Nevertheless, it does its job and works rather well, much better than non-stabilized video, especially for high action situations. Still image quality is also very good, with punchy colors on default settings. Images magnified to the full 8 megapixel resolution aren't all that clean. There is some noise and detail smudging though. Considering most are likely to be using them at a reduced resolution on the web, however, then they're perfectly usable. Action cams generally struggle in low light because the sensors simply aren't big enough, and bigger sensors mean bigger and less portable cameras. The X1000v does provide usable images in similar conditions as the GoPro Hero 4 Black, but if you're looking to shoot dark locations, I recommend bringing a few external lights. Battery life is a major drawback though. The camera comes with one Sony NP-BX1 battery that lasts about 45 minutes when recording 4K video and Wi-Fi enabled, although when recording 1080p video without Wi-Fi on, it will last at least twice as long. The battery is charged in the camera using the included USB cable, but aftermarket chargers are also available and more convenient. At the end of the day, in the action camera market, the buck stops at GoPro. Whether a company is trying to compete with them or not, they are the standard that everyone is held to. In order for Sony or any company to steal a substantial piece of the action cam pie, it has to make a flagship camera that's better than GoPro's. Sony did succeed in providing the X1000v with slightly sharper 4K video than the GoPro though, but it doesn't make up for the menu system, the clunky controls, relatively shallow diving depth and lackluster ecosystem of accessories. It's just hard to recommend it when the Hero 4 Black costs the same amount of money. Even when we just look at the hardware, Sony's 4K action cam, while greatly improved, still can't compete with GoPro's flagship camera. The Hero 4 Black simply offers more control and a wider range of accessories, not to mention cool extras like ProTune and SuperView. This is by no means a knock on Sony. It's clearly moving in the right direction, and this is a company that makes some of the best camcorders around. GoPro should be worried, since Sony will likely continue to close the gap even more with future action cams. The X1000v just doesn't quite get there just yet, but comes in at a very close second.